Hello everyone, Jason Leia back here again, and today I want to discuss some brand new stuff regarding James Bond. This isn't a franchise I often talk about news-wise, but with the announcement that Denis Villeneuve, director of Dune Part 1 and 2, Arrival, Prisoners, and one of my favorite films of all time, Blade Runner 2049, the announcement that he's going to be directing a James Bond movie. I'm sorry, there is no way I wasn't going to give my thoughts on this news at all. This came out just a few days ago. Every major Hollywood outlet, the Hollywood Reporter and all that, all those people just ran with this news, and it's confirmed by Amazon themselves that they were going to move forward with this after they bought the rights from the original people who own the property of James Bond. So now Amazon is going to be making the James Bond films from now on. It's not going to be from the actual creator, which kind of scared me. But when we got this announcement, it's like a weight just lifted off my shoulders, knowing that we are in fact in good hands. Denis Villeneuve is a director that is basically at this point one of the modern great directors of all time that you do not mess with. He somehow was able to make every single one of his films in some way interesting to talk about, to digest, to explore in terms of its themes, its characters, its story, and now he was able to garner worldwide success with Dune Part 1 and specifically Dune Part 2. And Dune Part 2 was so successful at the box office, despite the kind of movie it is, that it somehow managed to now make Denis Villeneuve one of the great blockbuster directors, like up there with Spielberg. And this dude had such an insane career at this point now, and it wasn't always perfect. Not that his movies are bad, but even movies like Blade Runner 2049 somehow managed to become box office failures. But I feel like with the success of Dune now and his notoriety, I think we are in good hands in terms of box office success for the studio, knowing that they'll be able to put out something that can make a good amount of money. And James Bond lately has been making good amounts of money, especially the last one, which despite the budget still managed to garner over $700 million. The only reason why I think it still managed to not make money was because that budget ballooned so much because of COVID. They delayed the movie so many times because of the pandemic that it would have been almost impossible to make money off that movie, even if it was good and made a ton of money. So honestly, it was mainly a failure due to circumstances instead of the quality of the movie. But now that we're out of that COVID era, I think the studio is looking to make a much smaller budgeted kind of film, but still Denis Villeneuve is a director that works with big budgets very well, like Blade Runner 2049, $180 million, and the Dune movies around that same ballpark. This director is able to take these insane budgets, yet utilize them to the best of his ability and make sure that that budget is spent very well. The visual effects and cinematography of his films is very cinematic and very grandeur. I feel like that's the kind of aesthetic that Amazon would want for James Bond here, it seems so. They want to bring that sense of cinematic flair to James Bond, keep that at it, and honestly, I am all down for that. The only thing that kind of like worries me a bit is that we're still gonna stick with the same grounded tone with James Bond. Not that I'm wanting for a campy James Bond, even though that side of Bond is somewhat enjoyable to me, but I don't know. I just hope that Denis Villeneuve understands that this franchise needs to go a bit of a different direction from the Craig era and make something of his own. I feel like he is gonna try and do that, but his style is pretty reminiscent to that of Skyfall or Casino Royale. I mean, Roger Deakins, one of the greatest cinematographers of all time, worked on both Skyfall and Blade Runner 2049 and the majority of Denis' films. So I kind of hope that they kind of go for a bit of a different aesthetic and feel to Bond, is all I'm saying. And I have faith that they're going to do that, but just the styles of that era and Denis is pretty similar, so I'm not sure how much of a difference they will be. But even if there isn't much of a difference, I wouldn't mind, because I still trust that we're going to get a great James Bond film out of this director, that he is going to bring his A game. James Bond is a character that has lasted for decades, over 60 years at this point now. Over 60 years. James Bond has been with us forever and is going to continue to be with us till the end of cinema, it seems so. You can't have cinema without James Bond. It's like one of the unbroken rules of movie making now. You have to make a James Bond movie one way or another. So this is great news for me. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Hopefully this movie is a real banger. I have faith it is going to be, despite Amazon now being a part of this with Denis Villeneuve. I trust now. I trust, and I am extremely excited for the next James Bond film. Now we gotta wait for the actor, and I still feel like that's gonna be quite a bit of a wait, but we are now itching closer to the actor than ever before. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.